Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of biology. And of course, today we're looking at the human excretory system. Okay, we have been discussing excretory system for a while now, and we're going to run it up today by looking at the human excretory system, and we may also touch on excretory system in plants. Okay, do not forget that these episodes are brought to you by the O3 Schools JAMB CBT practice application. It is for students that have made a personal decision never to write JAMB again in their life. Okay, so if you have made a decision to pass your JAMB at once, go to Play Store, go to App Store. The app is available for your laptops, for your computers, for your MacBooks. Okay, download the application, start practicing immediately. We'll talk about the features in a moment. Let us see a JAMB pass question from the app. This is a year 2000 question number 11. Year 2000 number 11. It says, use the diagram below to answer these questions. All right, so I'm given a diagram, and we're told that in mammals, reabsorption of salts takes place in A says IV, B says III, C say II, D say I. Okay, so we'll come back to this question, many more as it pertains to the excretory system from this application. All right, so please ensure that you relax and enjoy yourself, and do not forget to download the app. It has all the past questions you need for all the subjects. Under the practice for UTME section, you can see the features being shown on your left and your right. All right, so if you go to practice for UTME, you see all the past questions for all the subjects there. All right, likewise, there's a classroom with lecture notes with JAMB syllabus, and those lecture notes are structured according to the JAMB syllabus. And likewise, there's also a study plan. You can create a study schedule or a plan. If you cannot make a timetable for yourself, you can create a perfect study schedule for you, which you can run with. Okay, depending on the time that you have left. Okay, and likewise, there's also a question search feature. You can search for question according to topics, and the question that JAMB has set under that topic will come out for you to answer. Where's more? There's a mock challenge on the app every Saturday. You can compete with your mates with all those writing JAMB for this year to win a lot of amazing prizes. But the prizes is not the major reason for the challenge. Okay, we introduce the challenge for you to be able to gauge how prepared you are for your exam. Okay, so you can compete. Okay, you see your result released after the competition, and of course, it's just like normal JAMB, the same timing. Okay, standard questions. Okay, and of course, the result analysis is just as JAMB, exactly as JAMB. Okay, so when you see your result every Saturday, it will help you boost your confidence towards the examination. So please ensure you embrace all of these features on the application, and many more that I cannot be able to talk about because of time. All right, and also do not forget to activate the application so that I can have full access to everything on the application. Activation goes for a price that is less than the price of a turkey. Only one turkey in the restaurant. So please do not be stingy to yourself. This is your future. Download the application, activate it immediately, and also tell your enemies about the app. Now let us talk about the human excretory system. Okay, so the one thing which I'll be talking about is that waste, and how to get rid of them. Okay, and that is what the excretory system is majorly what all about. So our body generates a lot of waste. Okay, which may be needed or may not be needed, which has to be removed from the body. They have to be expelled out of the body, right? And the mechanism, the system that the body uses to get rid of this waste is what? Excretion. Okay, we have defined excretion in the introductory class, so we're not going to hit on it too much here. We said that excretion is the removal of waste product of what? Metabolism from the body. Okay, or is the removal of what? Nitrogenous metabolic waste. Okay, and then we touched on also on metabolism. Okay, we have talked about different processes in past. We talk about what the digestive system, talk about respiratory, we talk about transport system and the likes. Okay, and in each of all of these processes, okay, many of all of these life processes, there are chemical reactions. Okay, that they are what? Chemical reactions. Okay, and so because of that, like for example, during digestion, fats is being converted is broken down rather to fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, fats is what? Broken down to what? Fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, this is what? Is a chemical process. Also, during respiration, okay, glucose is broken down, okay, and of course, some byproducts are what are released like for example, like CO2 and what, and H2O. Okay, these are byproducts, okay, from the what, from the breakdown of glucose, okay, during respiration. So these are all what? These are all chemical what processes, and all these processes is what we call what? Metabolism. Okay, that is these are all what we call what? Metabolism. I hope you are following what the story so far. So within the cells of our body, there are so many chemical reactions taking place, okay? And all of these reactions is what sum up to what we call what? Metabolism, okay? Those are the metabolic activities that occur or take place in our what? In our body, all right? So within our cells, so many reactions are taking place, okay? Even as you are standing, when you are sleeping, okay? Reactions are what are always being what undergone, and that's also what stresses or stresses the importance of what of energy, because we need energy, all right, for all of these reactions to take place. Okay, so all these reactions are always taking place, and all of these reactions sum up to what we call what? Metabolic what? Activities. I hope you are following. So metabolic waste are waste that are produced, okay, from all of these chemical what reactions that are taking place. Okay, metabolic wastes. Okay, they are what? They are the waste that are produced from all of these chemical reactions that are taking place. Okay, and also in the previous class, okay, we also distinguish between what excretion and what an ejection. All right, and we talked about excretion being a very broad process of removal of what of unwanted what waste. Okay, of removal of what? All unnecessary things from what? From the body. Okay, it's a broad process. Okay, we say it's the removal of what? Metabolic what? Waste. Nitrogenous metabolic waste from the body. All right, I would say ejection on the other hand, EGESTION. And if you have not watched our episodes, okay, from the beginning of excretory system, please go and watch them, because every episode is a sequel to the other. All right, so ejection will say is the removal of undigested food particles from the body. All right, so that is that for that. So ejection, removal of what? Undigested food particle in the form of what? The one called shit. Okay, feces. In the form of feces. Okay, this is what ejection. All right, while excretion is for removal of metabolic waste. Okay, of removal of what? Nitrogenous metabolic waste from the body. Are you following? Okay. So now let us quickly talk about the metabolic wastes that are produced in our body. Okay, so we're talking about the metabolic wastes that are what? Produced in our body. All right, so number one, for example, we know carbon dioxide is one of the metabolic wastes that is produced in our body during what? During respiration. All right, so it's what is a metabolic waste. And also there are so many chemical reactions, like I've stated earlier, that is taking place, okay, in our what? In our body. All right, for example, we have what we call what? Fat. We have fats, we have proteins, okay, we have carbohydrates what? Metabolism. We have fat metabolism, we have protein metabolism, we have carbohydrates what? Metabolism. And all of these are just a way of our body what? Utilizing what? Okay, utilizing what? Them for what? For our own what? Good. Okay, so it's just a way of utilizing all of this metabolism, both the fat metabolism, protein metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism. Is what? It's all utilizing all of this fat, proteins, and carbohydrates, okay, for our own what? Good. Okay, but what we are mainly concerned about here today, because of the excretory system, is mainly what? Proteins metabolism. Okay, that's where we are going to what? Center our focus on proteins what? Metabolism. And why do we need to focus on protein metabolism? The reason why we need to focus on protein metabolism, because proteins are the building blocks of the body. Okay, building what? Blocks. Okay, they are the building blocks of what? Of our body. All right, because we need what? Protein for what? For growth. We need protein for what? For repair of worn out tissues. Okay, and so many other reasons. All right, and we cannot what? Get proteins without what? Amino what? Acids. Okay, for us to what? To get proteins, all right, we need what? Amino acids. Okay, so amino acids what comes together to form what? Proteins. Okay, if in chemistry class, I think we have talked about that severally. All right, so if I have finished our episodes on organic chemistry, all right, then of course you should understand this part very, very well. All right, that's what the amino acids are the building blocks. Okay, they are the ones that come together to form what? Proteins. Okay, so now We are concerned about what proteins, like I said, because proteins, they are the building blocks, okay, of our what? For our body, because we need them for what? For growth and repair. So to form proteins, we need amino acids, okay? Let me put it down. Sorry, I'm managing spaces because of what? The diagram, okay? For protein, okay, for we to get proteins, we need what to call what? Amino acids, okay? We need what to call what? Amino what? Acids, all right? And also remember very well when we did our class, okay, on what? On digestion, we said that what? That proteins are completely digested in the what? In the intestines. In the intestines, okay? That is where proteins are what? Are completely digested, okay? So they are digested to what? To form what? Amino what? Acids, okay? It is this amino acid that is now what? Transported to what? Our cells or to different parts of what? Of our body for utilization. Are we together? Okay? Should I go over that again? So what I'm saying basically is that the final place where proteins are digested in our body is what? Is the intestines. Okay? So after it has been digested, okay, it now forms for this amino acid. This amino acid is now what? Transported to what? To different parts of the body, to our cells, and to different parts of what? Of the body. Are we together now? Okay, so basically what happens is that these amino acids now, okay, they now what? Travel. They now go to your what? To your liver. Okay, they go to the what? To the liver, and it is what? In this liver that these amino acids get utilized. Please take note of that. It is in the liver that amino acid gets what? Utilized. Now, sometimes there can be excess amino acid, excess of it, okay, in our what? In our body, okay, because of that, it is now what? With the help of the liver, this excess amino acid is converted, okay, to what? To ammonia, okay, NH3. With the help of the liver, okay, the excess amino acids in our body is converted to what? To ammonia, NH3. Chemistry student, okay, all right, ammonia, NH3, okay, and of course, when it is converted to what? Ammonia, NH3, we know very well as a chemistry student that ammonia is very, very toxic. It's a very, very toxic compound, okay? It is harmful, okay? It is harmful to what? To the body. So our body cannot store ammonia, okay? So it will be irresponsible for our body to be storing what will be harmful to it. So for that singular reason, this ammonia has to be converted, okay, to what? To a less toxic compound, okay? So should I go over that again? What I'm saying basically is that what? That, like I said earlier, that what? That the final place where proteins are digested is in the intestine, okay? When they're digested, what? They are broken down to what? To amino acids. This amino acid is what goes to the what? To the liver, okay? So now, when there's excess amino acid in the body, the liver has to what? Convert what? That excess amino acids to what now? To ammonia. But our body cannot store ammonia because ammonia is a toxic compound. It is harmful to our body, okay? So it has to find a way to convert it, okay, to a less toxic compound so that what? It will know what? Harm us, okay? For what is what? It's good to know that what? Ammonia that you are seeing here is highly soluble in water. Ammonia, I think we've talked about it from the introductory class. Ammonia is highly soluble in water and it's a toxic compound, all right? So that means once it's what? Dissolves in our body, it's going to cause what? A lot of harm. So our body cannot store ammonia. So instead, it has to be converted to a less toxic compound. And with the help of the liver, all of these things happen in the liver. So with the help of the liver, it is now being converted to what? To urea. Okay? It is converted to urea. urea. It is converted to what? To urea. This urea is a less toxic compound than what? Than the ammonia. Okay, so our body is now what? Is now able to what? To now what? Get rid of this one. So it is the urea that is now what? Expelled. Okay, and we should take note, all right, that when we define excretion, we say excretion is the removal of what? Of waste product of metabolism. Okay, or the removal of what? Nitrogenous what? Waste. Nitrogenous waste product of what? Of metabolism. Okay, and what we're actually saying then is that what? That excretion is the removal of what? Of urea. Okay, it is urea that's what being what? Expelled. It is urea that is being what? Removed from the body, because the nitrogenous what? Waste that is being produced by body is what? Is the urea. Okay, so you get the whole story now. So for amino acids, they're converted to ammonia. Ammonia is toxic. It has to be converted to a less toxic compound, to urea, which is also what? A nitrogenous what? Compound, or nitrogenous waste. Okay, so it is urea that finally gets what? Expelled from the body. I hope you are following very well. So for what it's worth, for many of you, you watch our videos, you do not even care to what to like it. Okay, you watch our video, do not care to subscribe to our channel, don't follow us on Facebook. Okay, you just you don't even drop comments. It does not concern you. All right, so please encourage us to what to help you. Okay, please ensure that what you are liking our video, ensure that you are subscribing to what to our YouTube channel. Follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook. Okay, help us share and spread the good news also. Let your enemies know that what you are here. Okay, so that's basically what happens. So someone may want to ask, this ammonia, why can we not store it? We have said it is very, very toxic. Okay, so for example, ammonia is what is highly soluble in water, like I've said before. And one good, in fact, let me let you on an open secret. Okay, that 700 liters of ammonia, 700 liters of ammonia can dissolve in just only 1 liter of water. Okay, 700 liters of ammonia can dissolve. 700 liter can dissolve in only 1 liter of ammonia. Okay, so ammonia is toxic to the body. Okay, and if it dissolves in our body, it will alter our pH. Okay, you know what pH is, right? Okay, it will alter our pH. Okay, so that is why ammonia is very, very toxic. You cannot allow it, you cannot store it up in our body. It has to convert it to urea. Okay, so all of these metabolic activities that is going on all leads to the production of or to the formation of of this urea. Okay, and also it's good to know that the excretory product that is given out is different for different organisms. Take note of that. Okay, for example, for human, okay, it is urea. Okay, but for birds, it's uric acids. Okay, for birds, it's uric acid. Okay, sorry, this is loop of Henle. Okay, for birds, it is what? It is uric acid. Uric. Okay, sorry, proximal convoluted to bull. Sorry. Okay, I'm distorting our diagram. I will soon get rid of them. I just need you to be seeing them. I just need to explain some part to you so that you get it clearer. We'll soon get to using them now. Okay, so now all of these metabolic activities will lead to the formation of the urea. Okay, so now excreting products, okay, given out is different for different organisms. For like in birds, BIRDS, okay, it is it's uric acid. Okay, it's uric acid for birds. Okay, for fishes, especially those ones that live underwater, okay, it is ammonia. Fishes, ammonia. This one for fishes. Okay, because ammonia can dissolve in water, so they can easily just release it into the water so that it just dissolves. Okay, and also in some other organisms, like for example, what's it called? Starfish. Starfish will just give out ammonia itself. Okay, they'll give out the amino acid itself. Amino acid, starfish. Okay, starfish it releases amino acid itself. While in what's it called? In spiders. In spiders, for example, is guanine. Okay, guanine, GUANIN. Okay, GUANIN. All right, so please take note of all of these. Okay, JAMB, it's not in your syllabus, but JAMB may just ask you because they expect that as you are reading, okay, you have come across all of these things. Okay, so for example, for starfish, it's amino acid. For birds, uric acid. We have seen that from the beginning of our classes. Okay, for fishes, ammonia. Okay, especially those that live underwater. Spiders, guanine. All right. So now the most important thing to us is the urea. Okay, that's where we are. Now we have gotten to urea. We've gotten our urea. Now, how is this urea gotten rid of from the body? Okay, how does the body expel this urea from the body? Because urea is produced in what? Is produced in the liver. Abi, urea is in the liver now. Okay, but now does the liver has the function? Can the liver just evaporate the urea out of the body, or can you just delete it out of the body? It cannot. Okay, so there's a system in place that is responsible for expelling this nitrogenous waste called urea. Okay, there's a system, and that system is what we call the excretory system. Okay, this excretory system is what is responsible. Okay, because the blood has to be filtered. Okay, and there's a lot of filtration that has to happen. For that reason, the liver cannot. Okay, and that is why the organs, okay, or the main the main excretory what organ for a human, okay, is what is the kidney. Why we see that the excretory system, okay, is what responsible for what, for doing what, all of this, okay, is what is responsible for what, for getting rid of what, of this what nitrogenous waste called the urea. Okay, so now next, now we're going to what, now look at the our excretory system. Now our excretory system, okay, like for example, our digestive system, we know that what our belly, they the front, it's at the front, okay, all right, but our excretory system is at the back, usually between what the third and the fourth the lumbar vertebrae, okay, between the third and fourth lumbar vertebrae, okay. Okay, so our excretory system is found at the dorsal side of the body, at the back region, not at the front, at the back. Okay, so our excretory system is what is at the back, not at the front. Please take note of that. Okay, so basically, we'll start with the kidneys, because every human being has a kidney. Okay, has a pair of kidney. Okay, every human has a pair of kidney, as you can see very well here. All right, so this is our kidney, and of course, we're seeing the pair. Sorry, this is your kidney, not my kidney. Okay, you can see the pair of kidney. The kidney is what is being shaped. Is being shaped. Okay, the kidney is being shaped. Okay, you can see very well. And at the top of the kidney, all right, at the top of each of the kidney, you are seeing this structure, this cap-like structure, cap-like this kidney is wearing a cap, okay? This cap-like structure here, okay? And this cap-like structure that are called the adrenal gland, okay? Where did I write that? Okay, this is it here, okay? This cap-like structure that are called the adrenal gland, okay? So now, there's a vein, okay, or there's a vessel that carrying blood, okay, into and out of the kidney, okay? And the one that takes it into the kidney is called the renal artery. The renal artery is responsible for taking blood into the kidney, while the renal artery, okay? Renal artery will take blood into the kidney, okay? Renal artery. Okay, they also have renal vein, okay? Yeah, this renal artery, okay, is one that takes blood. Okay, see shown here, okay? Renal artery takes blood. This one is the vertical section of the kidney, okay? This one is like, I'm showing you the full kidney now, okay? So this one here that takes blood into the kidney is called the renal artery. The one that takes blood out of the kidney is called the renal vein, okay? That's this one here now, as you can see, okay? So one takes blood into the kidney, the other one takes blood out of of the kidney, okay? Renal artery and the renal vein. Then now, we also have the ureter, we have urethra, okay? We'll talk about all of them as we continue. I just wanted to show you how your kidney looks like. Don't be my own, okay? My kidney is finer than this, all right? So now let us talk about the kidney again in full, okay? And how it helps in the process of excretion. So like I said, humans are born with a pair of kidney, and the kidneys, they are very, very tiny, very small. They are like a fist, okay? They are very, very small, but they are very, very important, okay? They are very, very important. Just like I showed you just now, at the top of the kidney, okay? Just like you saw on the top here, okay? They are There are structures here that look like a cap called the adrenal gland, okay? And then we saw the vein that's going, okay? The blood vessel, rather, that is taking blood into the kidney, called the renal artery. While the one taking the blood vessel that's exiting the kidney is called the renal vein. Okay, the one entering, the blood vessel entering into the kidney is the renal artery. The blood vessel exiting the kidney is the renal vein. Okay, the kidney is about 10 to 12 centimeter long. Okay, 10 to 12 centimeter long. Okay, the kidney is about 5 to 7 centimeter wide. Okay, 5 to 7 centimeter wide, and also about 2 to 3 centimeter thick. Okay, these are just all extra information. Okay, so kidney is like a fist. Okay, it's about 10 to 12 centimeter long, 5 to 7 centimeter wide, then 2 to 3 centimeter thick. Okay, that is the kidney. Okay, very, very small something, but very, 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 very important. Okay, the kidney, as small as it is, it filters about 50 50 gallons of blood daily, okay? Daily. It filters up to 50 gallons of blood daily, okay? That's what the kidney. Kidney is very, very, very important, okay? So that is the what? Is the kidney, okay? It is very, very, very important, all right? We'll talk about what the cap-like structure on top of what the kidney cover the adrenal gland, all right? And then also we'll talk about what the ureter, talk about what the urinary bladder, okay? Just like in the structure we saw just now, okay? We saw after that we saw this going like this, okay? Then I have what one muscular bag, okay, called the urinary bladder. Then we now have what the urethra, okay, urethra. Okay, so basically that is how what the kidney structure we saw a while ago. That's how it was. Okay, so that's the kidney. So now, how does the kidney what help? Okay, the kidney is the main excretory organ, okay, of humans. The kidney is the main excretory organ, the very main excretory organ in humans. And we said vividly that the kidney, that every human has a pair of this kidney. Every human has a pair of kidney. So now we know very vividly that urea is in the urea is in the liver. Okay, but of course the kidney has to get rid of it. The liver cannot get rid of the urea. So the kidney has to get rid of it. So now how does this urea come into the kidney? Okay, it's very, very easy. It is the same blood that carries nutrients, the same blood that carries glucose, that carries electrolytes, that carries ions. That's what is still responsible for transporting this waste product called urea to the kidney. Okay, the kidney has a protective covering, okay, called the capsule. Okay, please take note of that. Okay, it has a protective layer, okay, called the capsule. Please take note of that. All right. So now the blood we want to also transport this unwanted waste, okay, to the kidney. Okay. Now when we talk about the lungs, all right, we said that in the lungs we find several millions of alveoli, isn't it? In the lungs, okay, where gaseous exchange happens, okay. We said in the alveoli, okay, there's the alveoli is present in the lungs, okay, and there are several of these alveoli in the lungs, okay. So also in the kidney, okay, if you take a kidney, okay, and cut it in half, all right, just like we're having this vertical section, we're going to have something like this, okay. So the kidney, once you cut it in half, we're going to also have several millions of not alveoli this time as is present in lung, but we are going to have now nephrons, neprons, neprons. We have nephrons as is present in the kidney. Okay, so please take note of that. These nephrons, they are the structural and functional units of the kidney. Okay, we say they are the structural and functional units, okay, of the kidney. Please take note of that. Okay, the nephrons, they are the structural and functional units of the kidney. Okay, so if you cut a kidney, this is what you are going to see. All right, so there's an inner region. Okay, okay. The kidney made up of two regions. We have the inner region called the medulla, MEDULA. Okay, we have the inner region called the medulla. Then we now have the outer region called the cortex, CORTEX. We have the inner region called the medulla. We have the outer region called the cortex. Okay, please take note of that. Okay, so there are two regions. Okay, in the kidney. Okay, we have the inner region. We have the outer region. Inner region is called the medulla. Outer region is called the cortex. So now let us now talk about the nephrons in full details. Okay, so like we said, the nephrons, I hope you are seeing. Okay, let me take this off now. I think we have gotten sufficient information about this diagram so that I have more space to write. Okay, so we have said that the nephrons, NEPHRONS, they are the structural and the functional units of the kidney. They are the structural and functional units of the kidney, the nephrons. Okay, so now we're not going to talk about the nephrons in detail. Now the nephron the nephron is made up of many different things, okay? Okay, and each of the nephrons, like I said, there are so many of these nephrons in the kidney, okay? And each of the nephron is made up of something that we call the glomerulus, okay? So basically, this is what? This is the nephron that we are seeing here, okay? Do not mind the diagram, okay? Manage it, okay? All right? So if you want to see a more detailed diagram, go online, or use your textbook to see what a more beautiful diagram of what of the nephron, okay? As you can see nephron here, okay, and you can see what the bone mass capsule, it has what the glomerulus. Each nephron is made up of what? Glomerulus, okay? And this glomerulus is what? Is a tuft, okay, or is what? Is a bundle of what? Of capillaries, okay, or a bundle of what? Of blood vessels or capillaries, okay? But they are very, very tiny, okay? And this glomerulus will sit on top of what? Of the bone mass capsule, okay? It sits on top of what? Of the bone mass capsule. So filtration, okay, basically what happens what in the bone mass capsule, okay, with the help of what? Or the glomerulus, okay? So take note of that. Then also there are what? A lot of what? Blood capillaries running here and there, okay? So that is what? That is what the nephron. So it also has what? A tubular part, a tubular part. Okay, it also what has what a tubular part, it has what a collecting duct, okay, and many what capillaries. Okay, so now one thing that's very, very obvious here is that what is that the urea, okay, is what already what in the kidney, and this urea, okay, and this blood, the urea is in the kidney, so it's already in the kidney. And of course, it is the blood that is carrying what that urea. All right, so there are so many things in that blood. Okay, there's the urea, there's what nutrients, there's what electrolytes, there's what ions, many nutrients are in that same blood carrying this same what urea. Okay, so for that singular reason, all right, what happens is that what filtration into what happened, and what it is the nephron that helps to what to filter, what this what blood. Okay, so now, after this what filtration is done, okay, there's something that I call what in the tubular part, there's something that I call what reabsorption, okay, and secretion. Okay, so there are three main work processes. Okay, there's the filtration, glomerular filtration, okay, which happens in what in the bone mass capsule, okay, because what the glomerulus is sitting on the bone mass capsule, okay, and then of course we now have what tubular reabsorption, okay, where all the nutrients, okay, that need to work. You know, when you filter, the one that you don't need goes to one side, the ones that you need what goes to the other side, okay? So the one that we need, that the body needs, they are reabsorbed into the body. That's what we call the tubular reabsorption, okay? You don't have what secretion, okay? The final product is now what produced, and which is what the urine. Urine is what is the final product that is produced. Then we now go to the toilet, we now go to the convenience to urinate. Okay, so that is what happens basically in the nephron. So the nephron helps to filter out the urea, which is why we see that the entry of the blood into the kidney is through the glomerulus. Okay, so as the blood enters into the glomerulus, which is sitting on top of the bone mass capsule, okay, it filters the blood, okay, and then in the collecting duct, okay, we collect the urine. The urine is what is formed. All right, so that is basically that. Now, let us now quickly talk about the processes of urine formation. How is the urine formed? How is it formed? So we say steps in urine formation. Steps. Okay. So now, for example, you see the entry into the kidney is through the entry into the nephron, okay, which filters the urea is through the glomerulus. Okay. So and this glomerulus, okay, they have very tiny vessels, very tiny vessels. Okay, imagine that blood is coming, okay, in a vessel that is bigger. Okay, it's now enters into this tiny vessel. What do you observe here? Okay, you observe that there's a change in pressure. Okay, the pressure that the blood is used to carrying all of these components, okay, both the urea and all the nutrients as it's coming. When now enters a smaller vessel, okay, what do you observe at this side? You see that the pressure, okay, will increase. Okay, so high pressure, it's a high pressure situation that is happening here. Okay, so when the blood enters into the glomerulus that is sitting on top of the bone mass capsule, okay, you see that this filtration was taking place. Okay, and as it is taking place, we call this filtration ultra filtration. Ultra, U-L-T-R-A, ultra filtration. The reason why I call it ultra filtration is because it is happening at high pressure. Okay, it is happening at high pressure. And why is it happening at high pressure? It's because of the change in diameter okay, between the blood vessel and what? And the glomerulus, okay? So glomerulus, what? They are what? Tiny vessels, very thin vessels, okay? But the vessel that are bringing what? The blood obviously will be bigger, okay? So when it enters into this, the pressure what increases naturally. So filtration what takes place, okay? And of course, it's happening what? At what? At high pressure, and that's how I call it what? This ultra what? Filtration, okay? So filtration takes place what? In the glomerulus, okay? Look at where the glomerulus is. So it's sitting on what? On the Bowman's capsule. So that in case you check an option, you don't see glomerulus, but you see Bowman's capsule, you know that what Bowman's capsule will be also very correct. Okay. So now that is what happens. Okay. So this filtration what happens. Okay. And as it happens, all the good things are what are filtered out. Okay. The ones that you do not need are also what filtered out. Okay. They are separated. So now what now happens after then? Where it has to find what a mechanism. The body has to make a mechanism. You know the blood is carrying many other things apart from the urea, okay? And since they have been filtered here, okay, it has to what? Now go to what? To the now what? Filter and then go to the tubular what part, okay? And the tubular part is where what? The reabsorption what takes place, okay? So now what happens? How does the body now get all of those nutrients, all of those good things, okay? The nutrients, the what? The glucose, the electrolytes, and the ions back into the system. They have to what? Reabsorb into the system so that the body can use them, okay? So the filtration happens at the glomerulus here, and then the what we do not need, the ones we do not need is what is filtered out. Why the one we need it remains, okay? So it goes to the what? To the Bowman's capsule. From the Bowman's capsule, it goes to the tubular what part, okay? So now what do we do? This nutrient that we need that are still in the blood, okay, that is still going through this tubular part, it needs to be reabsorbed into the system, okay? That's why I see that the nephron has what three main parts. We have what this PCT, we have this DCT that you are seeing here. They will now have this loop of what of Henle, okay? The PCT there is called the proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, the DCT there is called what? The distal convoluted tubule. Okay, they will now have what? The loop of Henle. Okay, so tubular reabsorption, what happens? Okay, and the nutrients, for example, like you see what like the amino acids, like what the carbohydrates, okay, whatever the glucose, rather the electrolytes, the ions are reabsorbed back into what? To the blood, because in the nephron, okay, there are so many blood vessels and capillaries present, okay, so it can easily be reabsorbed into what? Into the bloodstream again, okay. So that's what basically what happens. These three parts, they help in that reabsorption. So also we see that water, okay, water which we take in, okay, it's also what that is amount of water. How much water we need in our body is also regulated, okay. How much water we need in our body is also what's regulated. That's why you see that once you drink water a lot, you see yourself frequenting the toilet, isn't it? You see yourself obviously frequenting the toilet, okay? And it's because it is being regulated together with with other nutrients that we need, okay, that are taken back to the blood. So while the excess water that was being removed, okay. So now then after this reabsorption, which is called the tubular reabsorption, this stage here is the tubular reabsorption. Tubular reabsorption. Okay, and then after this tubular reabsorption, then we now have secretion. Okay, so this secretion is where the process of the urine formation. So the urine is now formed. Okay, alongside with the excess water that we do not need is now being pushed. Okay, to the collecting duct. From the collecting duct, it goes to urethra. Okay, to the urethra. Okay, and then from the urethra is it is being expelled out of the body. Okay, so that's basically how the urine is formed. You say, so to take this again, I've said that after the tubular reabsorption happens, okay, you see that the excess water that we do not need, okay, together with the urine that is formed is being expelled. It's being taken to the collecting duct. From the collecting duct, it's being taken to the urethra, where it is being expelled from the body. So the urine that we see is usually yellowish in color, okay, and the reason why it is yellow is because of of the compounds that are present in the urine. That's why it's usually yellow, okay. So please take note of that. And of course, urine has about 95% water. 95% water. Okay, it has 2.8% dissolved salt. Okay, and then it's also 2% urea, and then it also has about 0.2% of what of other substances like creatinine. Okay, like creatinine, like what? Yeah, like uric acid also. Okay, so that is what urine. Okay, and even ammonia, and even ammonia. Okay, this is what the component of what of the urine: 95% water, 2.8% dissolved salt, 2% urea, 0.2% of other substances like uric acid, ammonia, and creatinine. Okay, so that's basically how what the urine is formed. Okay, so the entrance to the nephron is the glomerulus. Okay, so the blood goes here, high pressure happens, and then you see that what the blood is being filtered. Okay, then it goes to the Bowman capsule. From the Bowman capsule, it goes to the tubular part. Okay, in the tubular part, okay, it has what three parts called the proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, and the loop of Henle. They help in what to reabsorbing, okay, all of the nutrients that are present in the blood back into the blood, and then of course, you see that what now water is also regulated. Apart from it being regulated, excess water is what being removed. Okay, together with the urine and taken to the collecting duct. Okay, from the collecting duct it goes to the urethra, and then of course the rest is history. So that is how what urine is what is formed. Okay, and then now is there any need for us to talk about dialysis? Okay, so let us talk about dialysis quickly. Sometimes you have seen that we have heard before that what a man or a human can function with only one kidney, isn't it? Yeah, so all humans are born with a pair of kidneys, but you can function with what? With only one. Okay, but the reason why God gave us two kidneys is pretty obvious. Okay, it's for efficient what? For the kidney to perform more what efficiently. Okay, so to perform its function in our body more efficiently, but with only one, it can work. So if that one that the person has now is now what faulty, okay, there's a way that this filtration can happen for him. Okay, and that is through the process of dialysis. Okay, through the process of dialysis, filtration can be done. Okay, and the only difference between what the dialysis and this one that happens, okay, by nephrons that our nephron does, okay, is that there's no this part is absent. This tubular reabsorption is absent. This one is called artificial filtration. Okay, so this artificial one, this dialysis, tubular reabsorption does not occur. Does not happen. Okay, there's no way for all of those nutrients, okay, that are present in the blood, okay, after being filtered, okay, to now get back into the blood. Okay, that is the difference between what the natural, okay, which is the natural filtration which you have in our body, and then the artificial own. Okay, so please take note of all of that. Well, I spent a lot of time. Okay, so let us quickly just throw more light on what's it called, the excretory system of plants. Excretory system of plants. Okay, quickly. So let us look at what plants now. So we already know that that excretion is the removal of waste product, isn't it? Okay, and also in plants, okay, they also remove waste product. Okay, for example, they remove excess salt. Okay, they also remove the carbon dioxide. Okay, that's release. Okay, during respiration, or is it the oxygen that is given as a byproduct of photosynthesis? Okay, these are all excretory products. Also, even during transpiration, okay, the transpiration, the loss of excess water, okay, transpiration, loss of excess water, okay, from the area, part of the plant, okay, or the leaves rather, okay. We talked about this. We want to talk about what's it called? Talk about respiration. Okay, so please, all of these, they are all excretory products. Okay, because oxygen is a byproduct. It's given out. Okay, as a byproduct of photosynthesis. Okay, carbon dioxide during respiration, giving out. Okay, so all of these are excretory they are all excretory waste. Okay, or product. Okay, from the plants. Also have gums and resins. Gums and resins. Okay, gums are formed by decomposition of cellulose, okay, in the cell wall. Okay, gums are formed by the decomposition of cellulose in the cell wall. Okay, so that's also what a byproduct, that's also an excretory waste, okay, or excretory product, okay, of what? Of plants. Okay, they also have what? Resins, which are viscous excretions of what? Of plants, which are used in the production. Resins are used in the production of adhesives, okay, and what? And vanishes. Okay, they are viscous, VICOUS, they are viscous excretions of what? Of plants, which are used in the production of adhesives and what? And varnishes. Gums and resins, they are also what? Excretory product of what? Of plants. And they also have shedding of leaves. Okay, so plants, they shed what? Leaves in order to be able to conserve what? Energy and water. Okay, they shed leaves in order to be able to what? To conserve what? Energy and water, like during the dry seasons, okay, where much rain is not what? Falling. Okay, they need to conserve water, and then they go through the process of what? Of absorption, so that they're able to what? To conserve what? This water. Other excretory products of what? Of plants include tannins. We have tannins. Okay, TANNINS. Okay, we have tannins. Okay, we also have mucilage. We have latex. We have alkaloids. Okay, we also have what? Anthocyanins. Okay, all of these, they are all what? Excretory what? They are all excretory what? Product of plants, including what? The gums, and what? And the resins that I was spoken of what about. Okay, so tannins, they are what? They are very, very useful in the tanning of leather. They are useful in tanning of leather. And tanning is the process of treating animal hides and skin to produce leather. Okay, so tannins are also what? We are products of what? Excretory product of plants. Excretory product of plants. They also have what? What's it called? We have alkaloids. Okay, alkaloids, they are nitrogenous what? Waste that are what? Produced in the back, like this BA, in the back. Okay, and some leaves. Okay, so there are very, 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 very many. We have some examples of of alkaloids. These alkaloids we're talking about here. We say they are nitrogenous what? Compounds that are formed in the back, okay, or what? Leaves of what? Of some trees. Okay, examples of what? Of alkaloids. Examples of alkaloids include cocaine. Okay, we have what? Quinine, example of alkaloids, that is this alkaloids, examples of alkaloids. Okay, they include what? Quinine, they include nicotine. Okay, they include, we have cocaine also, we have cocaine. Okay, we also have morphine. Okay, morphine. Okay, also have what? Morphine. These are examples of what? Of alkaloids. Then we also have what? Anthocyanins. And those anthocyanins, they are responsible for the red and purple colors of flowers. Okay, red and purple colors of what? Of flowers. They are responsible for the red and purple colors of flowers. Those anthocyanins, that is these ones. Okay, they are responsible for the red and purple colors of what? Of flowers. And these anthocyanins, they are also what? Water-soluble pigments. They are water-soluble pigments. Water-soluble pigments. Okay, so please just take note of all of this. Okay, so these are all excretory what? Product of plants. Okay, from the CO2, first of all, to begin. Okay, from respiration, the O2 from photosynthesis, salts. Okay, to what? Tannins, gums, resins, mucilage, latex, okay, anthocyanins, alkaloids. These are all what? Excretory product of what? Of plants. Okay, so please expect to note them, okay, and take them and keep them what? With you. Okay, so now we have seen what are the human excretory system. We have seen what excretory system what in plants. So let us take some questions. We're out of here. As we do it as usual, you're going to be the one to drop the answers in the comment section. Okay, so we have 2019 number 10 here. It says, which organ removes the largest quantity of water from the blood? Okay, which organs remove the largest quantity of water from the blood? A says the lung. Yeah? Okay, if you like, say it's A. B says the skin. C says the kidney. D says the intestine. Okay, so please your correct answer in the comment section. Just say number one. Just say 2019. Just say number one. is A. If it is A, if it is B, say it's B. Of course, obviously, the answer is looking at you there. 2007, number 17, they say in mammals, the organ directly on top of the kidney. Okay, when we drew our kidney, remember? All right, when we drew our kidney, all right, remember we did this. Okay, then now have something like a cap-like structure at the top that will say is what? AG. Okay, so A say thyroid gland, B say adrenal gland, C say pancreas, D say prostate. Okay, so right, say number 2, whatever the answer is. 2021, number 16, so which of these is not a function of the kidney? Which of this is not a function of kidney? A say production of urine, B say, or urine rather, B say maintenance of acid-base balance in the body, C say osmoregulation, D say production of bile. Okay, does the kidney help in the production of urine? Does it help in maintenance of acid-base balance in the body? Does it help in osmoregulation? Okay, does it help in the production of bile? Okay, you see that when you answer this question, you see your confidence increasing. So there's a wrong answer there. Sorry, pardon, and it is looking at you. 2010, number 22. They say the outer layer of the kidney, where the Bowman's capsules are found, outer layer of the kidney is called what? Okay, I say what the kidney has 2 layers. Okay, we have the cortex, then we have the medulla. Okay, the kidney has 2 layers. Okay, or 2 regions: the cortex, the outer regions, and the inner region. The cortex, the medulla. Which one is the inner? Which one is the outer? I've explained it during the course of the class. So pick the answer and put there. So 2012, number 21 says, in the kidney of animals, the site of ultrafiltration. Where does ultrafiltration happen? They say the uriniferous tubule. B say Bowman's capsule. C say loop of Henle. This says the renal tubule. Okay, so where does that happen? Okay, correct answer, put it in the comment section. Okay, so let us there are so many other questions on the app. You encounter them in the course of your study. Okay, in the course of studying with the application. So please download the app so that I can practice effectively towards your main examination. My name is Master T. Thank you for joining us in this class. We are going to see in this class. We'll talk about a different topic. See you there.